I'm a very aggressive player, I would say, a little bit more physical, and a lot of times growing up I struggled with that because of a lot of the stereotypes that people have about Black people, and then in particular in sports. And so I found myself in contradicting moments, like battling between this is my play style and this is when I play best, but then a lot of people don't like that energy and like that aggression and like that play style. So trying to kind of combat those two things was something that I struggled with growing up, and it's still something I struggle with till this day. I'm one of the only Black women playing lacrosse, Black women playing lacrosse at a Division I level and then at a top 10 program, and now nationally. That jump and being able to see myself in the representation that has on people that look like me was so incredible.
Jordyn Harrison, welcome to Hail to Her.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
I'm so excited to talk to you, especially because we spent so much time together in college. We obviously played on the same lacrosse team. You were here for three of my years, which is crazy to think about. Now, I miss you guys so much, and now that I'm out of it. But let's recount some of our favorite memories together. I think one that's at the top for me was we roomed together all the time in the hotel on away trips, and it was my birthday, and you woke me up with birthday music, and it was so much. We were on the beds dancing, ready for the Notre Dame game, and we're getting in trouble from our captains. You got to turn the music off; it's too loud. And Jordan's it's her birthday. Come on. Yeah, that was a good one for me.
I remember the night before I got paired with you, and I was like, oh shoot, I got to make this day special. This is one of my best friends. We're on an away trip. We're not back at school, so I got to make it fun. Yeah. And that was the first thing to come to mind. We always listened to the same music and everything. So I think it was either the birthday song, or it's probably something by that song we kept playing on the bus and repeating back and forth.
Boss Man D-Lo or something.
Yeah, something like that. Something like that.
Yeah.
And I kept playing it, and then I remember Ava just sending a text in the group chat. She was like, can somebody please put that down? But I'm like, dude, it's her birthday.
Yeah, come on.
We always get in trouble.
Yeah. But we spent so much time together. We were both on the defensive unit. And for the people that don't know, we played low defense, which is right by the crease. And we were on the left side, I was on the other. And so everything we did was, we had to become so close, not only because we have stuff in common and I loved you outside of lacrosse, but also to do so well on the field, we had to have hard conversations and just have a reliable and trusting relationship. So I think that is one of my other on-field experiences with you.
No, that was definitely a battle. I feel even then we were getting ourselves into trouble too. But I agree with what you're saying. The connection, the relationship we built off the field, hanging out at your house is a second home to me, always there every night. I know the girls like to joke, but literally my favorite place to be. But building the connection with you off the field and then seeing it translate on the field to down at the crease together, and just shutting people down throughout the season, hands down some of my best memories, best moments. But I think it definitely formed off the field, and people could easily see it translate into our play.
Exactly. And I think we got to figure out how to throw some film of us in there, because we would attack other teams and other players. You're going after them, I'll be on their body and you're coming in with a huge check, and there's nothing better than that feeling. So
even, the practice film of us just sitting on the sideline just shooting the shit. It was so
amazing.
Fun. God, I wish I could have those moments.
I know,
back.
seriously. But it's your senior year, and you've had such an incredible experience here so far, but you didn't start at Michigan. So you started at Richmond. That was where your lacrosse career began. You did well there, but I want to talk about that. And so tell me about your experience at Richmond and what your life was like there that ultimately led to your decision to want to enter the portal.
Gotcha. So I went there freshman year. I had come off of a little shoulder surgery, which pushed me back in kind of my recruiting process. So I didn't get to speak with a lot of coaches, not a lot of teams. And they took a chance on me. So I was really grateful. Went there, played freshman year. It was a journey into getting to start. I started I want to say the 10th or 11th game in, and just kept kind of pushing at it. Loved the team, still till this day, one of the best team chemistries I've been a part of through high school, club, college. Love the girls, love the coaches. And my experience there, I mean, that was the year we won the Atlantic 10 championship, which is something.
I saw that ring. That ring's really cool.
Fabulous. Yeah. That's something those girls and those seniors on the team wanted, like, since they were freshmen, they had won their freshman year. So it'd been like kind of a full circle moment. But there was a lot of things leading up to that. And like lacrosse kind of was my safe haven there. Loved it. But like when I left practice, when I left games, like when I left the team, like I hated it. Yeah. And I kept coming back to kind of like this why. And it stemmed from a lot of different things. I was unhappy. This was like the time in my life right after my parents had gotten a divorce, kind of like moving from boarding school. These kids I grew up with since I was 13 years old, coming into a new environment, also a little shaky. So like going through a lot of different new transitions in my life. And ultimately just wasn't happy being at the school outside of lacrosse. Didn't really feel like I could grow in my identity, grow in myself outside of being an athlete, and so knew it was like a time for change. And ultimately ended up dipping my foot into the transfer portal, got connected with Anna, emailed her. It was a long shot. It felt like a long shot, but she answered back. Yeah. We built that connection, nurtured it. She introduced me to Hannah. I was able to get here, visit, meet Jill. And for people who don't know, that was a senior on our team last year, but just build these connections and these relationships. And like, you know, I'm a people person. Like I love talking to people. So that was important to me, and to feel so comfortable first off the bat when I got here was a big reason why I came here. It was those relationships and me knowing that they're going to nurture me and build me as a player and a person. And just opportunity here. I mean, Michigan, goes without saying, is the greatest university in the world. I agree with that statement. And there's so many possibilities. So the fact that I was able to be something and grow into something outside of athletics was a big, big plus for me.
I'm curious, do you think your experience at boarding school starting at 13 years old, do you think it was easier for you to adjust to college life and living away from home because of that? Or what was that like for you?
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, my roommates, the girls on my team, like some of them didn't even know how to do laundry. And I would sit there and be like, you guys, like, you can't be serious. But I'll show you how to do it. Yeah, no, I get it. And it's like little things like that, like getting homesick. A lot of the girls were homesick the first couple months. Just like navigating things like alone and independently, I noticed like I had a jump start on a lot of girls, in which that ultimately I think was able to help me like focus on kind of like my academics and athletics, and like be the driver force and the differentiator between me being able to get on the field or not, because I didn't have to worry about all the outside stuff. But yeah, no, I think it definitely gave me like an upper hand for sure. I had to learn to grow up really fast, but in a good way.
Yeah. I think you're pretty mature.
Thank you.
Hate to say it. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. So what other schools were you deciding between other than Michigan when you had entered the portal?
Big 10 schools. I wanted a big school, a school with a lot of opportunities. So it was Michigan, it was Hopkins, it was USC, it was Duke. I thought for a moment I wanted to go down south, warmer weather, nothing like Michigan, but bigger schools, a lot of schools that could invest in their athletic programs too, and had the resources in their athletic departments to invest in their athletes. And I felt like those would be great fits, especially where I wanted to go career-wise post-college too. Like these bigger schools had a lot more opportunities for majors and such. So,
was there a specific moment on your visit here where you were like, it clicked? You were like, okay, I have to go here. Or when in your process did you feel something like that?
I'd say probably when I met Jill. Honestly, I was in 1107 down on State Street, and she was taking my mom and I through all the houses. And you know, Jill, like big bubbly personality, just kind of says what's on her mind. But I felt like I was just walking through there with like one of my best friends, and I had already like known the school, known the layout, known the people, and we were just kind of like chit-chatting, and she was joking around and everything, and just to like see kind of like I would see the pictures up on the walls and the houses and stuff, and all the little like the Block M thing that everybody writes on in Block M, and like all those little traditions and knickknacks started to stick out to me, and I was like, wow, like this is a cool place. I feel like this is a great fit. I feel comfortable with her. I met Maddie Burns too, and so probably when I got to meet the girls, like I knew like these would be my sisters and this would be my family. This would be the place.
And I imagine too, coming from Richmond where you were so comfortable with lacrosse, but needing the actual school culture to be a place where you could grow. I'm sure seeing the photos of us loving where we are, and just the atmosphere in Ann Arbor period was probably like
100%.
Yeah.
I would look up videos on YouTube too. I'd look up videos of like the football game or like campus, like when it's lively right before a football game and all the thousands of people here, and like you can see in those videos just like how cool and sick it is to be a part of something bigger than yourself. And I feel that at Michigan. I feel that with the team, but I feel that specifically as a student athlete here. I feel what a privilege it is to wear like the Block M and to represent something so much bigger than just yourself.
Yeah. Do you think what do you think are the major differences between A10 and Big Ten play? Like, being on the field, what did you feel in terms of like the change in competitiveness or things like that?
I mean, you're a defender. I feel like we set the tone. That was one of our biggest things last year, set the tone and let the other team feel you. And so I'd say the grit, the tenacity, I feel like not leagues, conferences like the ACC is like, it's all about finesse, like players with a lot of skill and like make the game look pretty. But like the Big Ten is like, you're going to go out there, you're going to put somebody on their butt, you're going to knock someone down. Like it's
like
hard hitting.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah.
It's a grind and you're going to compete. And I loved that because that's the type of player I am. And I felt that in our defensive culture too. So that was like the biggest change, I would say. But like, I didn't struggle with that because that's the type of player I am and that's what I wanted. But I noticed that's a different type of play style than the A10. It was just, they weren't at that level yet.
Yeah. But I think that speaks to you as the player that you are, because there was no real shift once you got here. Like, you were immediately playing. And at one point we were competing for the same spot, and you transferred here and like, you say you're from this conference of like finesse and making it look pretty, but you just came right in and did so well. That being said, like, you also did it for the national team, and you were an alternate and went through the whole training camp process for the U20 team. What was being able to represent not only now Michigan, but also the USA on the lacrosse level like that?
It was an insane opportunity. That kind of whole process lasted like, I want to say like a year and a half. That was like that summer coming here. We were training, me and Grace, and we had about like 2 or 3 training camps that summer. And those last about 4 days. You go, you play, you compete, people get cut. Yeah. It's the whole thing. And it's intense. It's a different level of play that I wasn't used to, but like, looking back on it now, one of the best experiences I've had in my life. But that whole process, I mean, being able to compete and play for the red, white, and blue USA, like, it's indescribable. I don't really know how to put it into words other than like, it's such a surreal moment. Like I said, like being able to wear the Block M and represent that is big, but being able to represent your country is even bigger.
Yeah.
But a piece that was like unique for me is like, I'm one of the only Black women playing lacrosse, Black women playing lacrosse at a Division I level, and then at a top 10 program, and now nationally. Like, that jump and being able to see myself in the representation that has on people that look like me was so incredible. But like, that was also now another moment where I'm coming outside of myself and being able to represent something bigger than myself, like the little girl I was 10 years ago who wishes they saw more people like me out there competing at all these levels, to be able to do that at the national level.
That's pretty damn cool, like, to be that person now. You are the only Black woman on the women's lacrosse team here. And the Michigan team hasn't had a lot, but just the lacrosse world period, there isn't a lot of representation. So tell me what that's like to be one of the only, like, you are the only woman, one of the only people in the community. What is that like for you?
Yeah. I won't lie. I mean, it's a struggle sometimes. Growing up, it was definitely a struggle because there were less and less, like way fewer Black women playing at the collegiate level. And then just within like my town or my club teams, things like that, like it was always just me. And like, like if you put yourself in a setting where you feel like different, or you kind of like can pinpoint your differences in the room, like imagine that in an everyday setting, and then imagine that in a smaller setting within your team. It can be very isolating, but as I've gotten older, the game has grown, thankfully. It's moved into inner cities, and a lot more people who look like me are playing the game, which is lovely to see. But also just within our team, like as I've gotten older, I've been around more people who have been are willing to educate themselves about my culture and where I come from and my race. And so to see that within my team, to see that within the people I surround myself with has been so beautiful, and allowed me to open up and allow them to learn even more, and allow me just to be comfortable in the skin that I'm in. But that was a process. It wasn't always like that. It's a journey. I know I've opened up to you a lot in the past about that experience, and just to have a support system and people like you in my life, to share those things with, and who really care and want to learn more has been so beautiful. So struggle in the beginning, but as I've gotten older, I begin to create that support system, and to nurture that, and to continue to let people in who are willing and want to learn.
And I think it's hard too, because your experience, I've never had to understand your experience, and a lot of people in our community haven't. And so having you in our program, I think, has been so beautiful to like help grow all of us individually, to be like, okay, first of all, like, we have to grow the game, but also like, how can we make this community better? Do you think there's anything specifically in your experience that people don't realize that you've dealt with?
Yeah, I mean, like I said before, I'm a very like aggressive player, I would say, a little bit more physical. And a lot of times growing up, I struggled with that because of like a lot of the stereotypes that people have about Black people, and then in particular in sports. And so I found myself in contradicting moments, like battling between this is my play style and this is when I play best. But then a lot of people don't like that energy and like that aggression and like that play style. So like trying to kind of combat those two things was something that I struggled with growing up, and it's still something I struggle with till this day. But also just that imposter syndrome. A lot of the times that comes into play where I feel like I need to prove myself, or I don't fit, or I don't belong. And that's something that I feel like a lot of people don't see because it's not visual, but it's like a battle I play with in my head. That is just, it's a constant battle, but it's something that I continue to fight, and continue to just talk about with, again, people like you, with girls on the team, and with my mentors in my life and my family, so that I can understand that like I deserve to be here. I have done everything, put in all the work to be here. And no matter what people say or the way people feel about how I play or my play style or how I present myself, like I'm authentic and that's how I'm going to show up. And just to like keep that at the forefront of my mind. But it's a battle. There's a lot that goes on in my mind that I don't talk about or show. But it's something that I have to work through on a daily basis.
What do you think is the best way that we can grow the game and make it more inviting for people that look like you?
I mean, people like me advocating, talking about kind of my experiences. I know with the U.S. team, like I was interviewed there and I spoke on kind of like what this moment meant to me and kind of the conversations I've had with younger girls. Like when I go home for breaks, I help out with my club team and coach little girls. And there's times where I'll come out of those practices and one of their dads will pull me aside and be like, keep it up, Jordyn. Like you're doing great work. You're inspiring my younger daughter. So just continue to show up. And like I said, be authentic and tell my story. I think will inspire a lot of the younger girls to put their kind of foot in the pond and like give it a try, even though it might be a space that's intimidating and they don't think that there's room for them in that. But also I think just giving back. I know our team does a lot to give back with Team Impact, but there's so many other organizations in Detroit and inner cities that like people could be volunteering for and giving their time to less fortunate people who may not be able to afford a lacrosse stick or afford private lessons, but just giving back their time and their knowledge of the game, I think is a great way to start, and can be very encouraging to somebody who's young and doesn't know where to begin and doesn't have like the resources that I might have had or you might have had or somebody on our team.
I mean, you've proven that you belong. I mean, it's pretty clear in your accolades that you've gotten. You've been an all Big Ten player. You're preseason All-American for numerous years. When you look back at your experience, what has been the most rewarding part of all of that? Or what are your thoughts on everything that you've done?
This might be a weird answer, but I'm going to say the relationships that I built, because like none of that, at the end of the day, yeah, we're here to compete for championships and all that. But I know like further down the line, at least like when I reflect back on high school, like none of those like wins or losses or little high school championships mattered. At the end of the day, it's the people and the relationships that I built in the place. So I'd say probably for me, like when I look at the grand scheme of things through my successes and the goals that I still have for myself, like at the end of the day, that's not really what's most important to me. It's the people, it's the relationships that I build, the memories that are going to last me a lifetime and I'm going to take away from this place, and kind of like the legacy that I'll build. But for me, it's like the small moments with the team when we're traveling and we're screaming on the bus at each other, or we're in a hotel playing Uno and somebody gets mad and walks away from the table and everybody's...
I think we had a fight one time, didn't we?
We did.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it was your...
We can unpack that later.
You were
it was your fault. It was
you
okay.
Instigated.
Anyways, don't even. Okay.
We'll carry on. Anywho, or it's like we're doing fire pits in the backyard, or pre-gaming at somebody's house before a football game or movie nights. Yeah. I mean, the list goes on, but like those are like...
Or late night drives.
Late night drives, yes, with Ashley Kutcher. Gotta have our Ashley Kutcher. But like little moments like that, like those are my successes. Like those are wins for me. And that's what makes me happy. And that's what wakes me up every day and keeps me going to create those again and create more of them. Those are my wins in life, I would say.
It's really funny you say that because we just had Hannah, our head coach, on the show. And she said like what's made her so happy and so successful at Michigan and in her career is the fact that we've created a community where what's making people so good is the community and the relationships that they built. Like even now, like, yes, I remember the buzzer beater against Notre Dame, but I can't remember the minutes that I played or anything. And it's been a few months out. I only remember the times that we shared or the rest of my class and the program as a whole. And I think like that's so special. And as you approach your senior season, to remember that. Yeah. And is there anything specifically your senior year that you want to tackle or any goals you have?
Obviously, we want to win that Big Ten championship. That's something we've been talking about, I mean, probably since you were a freshman. And I'm feeling really confident about that this year. But outside of just like statistics or wins or championships, I think I want to leave this place knowing like I left it in better care than when I found it. And that whether that be with the culture of the team or the younger girls, like having a better experience than I first had my first year, making sure they're feeling at home, or the juniors who are about to become seniors, making sure they feel like they're confident leaders and they have the confidence to lead next year's team when we're gone, or even the sophomores becoming upperclassmen. Like there's so many different pivots, but I want to make sure that I've done everything I could to set this team up for success when I'm gone, outside of just like the field and their lives and relationships, being great women, great leaders in the classroom academically, and even like girls finding like their little niche paths. I mean, this year Hannah has people come in and every week we have somebody present like Bren did her woodworking and how she makes all these different tables. And Allie she's an engineer and she is building like these little planes and things and aerodynamics and everything. And she spoke about that. Some girls are speaking about things like knitting or cooking and their passions. And so like helping my teammates find their passions outside of lacrosse too is another big one, because we're only here for 4 years. Once we're done, we're done. Unfortunately,
what are you presenting about?
I might have to do my magic tricks. I won't lie.
That could be such a good one. Like your card tricks.
Mm-hmm. And that's like something like I love to do, like we'll get back into the cards in a bit, but playing cards is something that I love to do outside of like sports, and it's just something that brings me so much joy. So I think like finding the little things that you like to do outside of being an athlete is going to be huge.
You really put me on the cards thing. I really didn't think I would ever like cards, but I still love Combio and all that stuff that we did together.
Literally. I mean, it just gets your competitive juices going. Like some people a little bit too much, but
don't even start with me, because there's two sides to every story. Let me just say, Spicy Uno gets really heated, and we'd play in the meeting rooms before each game. And with our coaches, there's like 8 of us, and there's like special rules. And Jordyn, we don't need to get into the story.
I'm the one who like practically taught you guys the game. So
that is so not true. I taught you.
I don't know how you get.
Anyways, let's talk about next season.
Okay.
Tell me what's next for you after your career is over.
I've been looking at coaching potentially next year. I'm also looking at graduate school because I want to continue on with my academics and learning. I'm a very curious person, and I know there's still things I need to learn out there.
What would your grad program
Master's
be?
in management.
Okay.
Yeah, that matched well with my sport management major.
Yeah.
But definitely coaching because I want to give back. Coaching high school level. I've talked to a lot of coaches recently, just like little coffee chats, getting to know the lay of the land and kind of like their experiences in that world. But I find a lot of like monumental things in my life and like what shaped me started back in high school. And like, I want to be that mentor, that leader for the younger generation and those little girls, because I wish I had somebody like that in my corner when I was that young. So definitely I think coaching is something that I could find really rewarding, but also be a great way to give back. If not, then I definitely foresee myself staying somewhere in the sports world, whether that be with a professional team, agency, or something like that. I've had some really unique internships in the past.
The Yankees, pretty cool.
Really cool. So maybe working for a team, but I'm still figuring it out. I like to say I have a little bit of time. So
yeah. Oh, you do. I'm still figuring it out.
I know my opportunities are out there somewhere. Just have to be ready to open the door and walk in when it comes. Yeah. But definitely something within the sport industry.
And at one point you wanted to do sports broadcasting. You showed me some YouTube videos of you. We might have to put them in here, of her as a little girl at sports broadcasting camp. But I'm really excited to see not only what you do this year. I'm going to be at every game, obviously, and cheering you on from the crease, on the sidelines this time, but just what you do after. Like, I love you so much. Obviously, you're one of my best friends, but I'm so excited to be able to talk about you and your story. And thank you for always inspiring all of us. So, love you.
Love you.
I love you.